Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
From the heart of Houston, it's fun, it's engaging, it's Chatting with Chelsea. She's Daytime's new bestie. Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Come back to me. I've got the feeling.
Hey, besties. Welcome to another episode of Chat with Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. Thank you to the Houston Mass Choir for that beautiful opening to our Juneteenth show. Today we celebrate freedom, resilience, and the rich culture of Black America. Here to talk more about it, we've got Alex Thomas from the NIA Cultural Center. Now, you've got a huge Juneteenth thing going on in the birthplace of Juneteenth.
That's correct. That's correct. Galveston is truly the birthplace of Juneteenth. The Port of Galveston is where the enslaved were brought many, many years ago. And in 1865, General Gordon Granger and the U.S. colored troops came to Galveston to let them know they were the last state that did not celebrate or did not recognize the Emancipation Proclamation. So General Order Number 3 was written to come and let people know that they were free, and that's why we celebrate Juneteenth.
And it took 2 years to get that word all the way down to Galveston.
That's correct.
Can you imagine being back in that day and finding out you've been free for 2 years and you're just now getting the word?
I know it was, as I talked to people, and we did an interview a few weeks ago, and one of the ancestors of one of the enslaved was a part of this interview process, and I think her great-great-grandfather was like 8 years old at the time. And I can only imagine hearing that and knowing that you now have freedom to go and do things that we weren't privileged to do at that time. And so I think that's the importance of this holiday, is being able to recognize the fact that we do have those freedoms. We do have that absolute equality that was not afforded to us back in those days. And so that's why it's so important that we embrace this holiday, we embrace the culture, and that we continue to uplift those shoulders that we stand on.
Yes, there are a lot of people who would honestly like to forget the past.
Correct.
But for me, it's part of the reason why we are able to celebrate so richly and sing songs like that from the depths of our souls.
Right.
What do you say to people who don't understand why we have Juneteenth when we have July 4th?
Well, I refer to one of the most important gentlemen from this state, State Representative Al Edwards. He was a Democratic representative who fought in 1979 to get Juneteenth established as a state holiday. It was January 1st of 1980 when it was passed through legislation. Al Edwards said that the success of having this holiday is a reminder that we are only successful because of these actions that took place. The action of 1865 resulted in many events, everything through the civil rights periods to where we are today. And if we don't celebrate this holiday, we will go back into those days. And so that's why it's so important. People like me and you to be able to stand here and do what you're doing, very proud to be a part of this broadcast. We wouldn't have those privileges had it not been for 1865. And so it's important that we celebrate the holiday, but it's most important that we continue to carry on the traditions that our people were afforded to do back in June 1865. So,
where can people find out more about your celebration and hear this lovely choir once again?
Well, they can go to our website, niaculturecenter.org. That's Nia, N-I-C-U-L-T-U-R-A-L, I'm sorry. NIA stands for purpose, and the purpose of the organization is to empower people to bring about the culture, bring about change. It is the only African-American art gallery in Galveston. There's a 5,000 square foot mural that depicts the history of Juneteenth from the 1800s to today, present day history. And so part of that mural highlights one of the first African-American churches that was originated on the island, which is Reedy Chapel, which is an AME church. To this day, they still have the Emancipation March, which was a part of the celebration on June 19th, 1865. And so the importance of that is being able to recognize that when the people found out, they went and they put notices on all of the different businesses, all of the places, and they knew that we praised and worshiped. And so the fact that we have the Houston Mass Choir here, it just signifies the fact that those sacred places was how they got the message out. So Reedy Chapel is a very important part of that. Avenue L, which was the first Baptist church in the state of Texas, is right there in Galveston. All of these places originated there, and they're still in existence, and which was remarkable after all the hurricanes that have been through the island. And so we're reminded on an annual basis that we should celebrate not only those places, but the people that were a part of that culture. And so we stand on the shoulders of so many giants, and that's why it's important.
So we've got to take a trip to another historical place, Freedmen's Town in Houston. It's the place where many slaves who were freed started their lives once again. We're going to take a trip there when we get back. Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love your mind.
Welcome back to our Juneteenth celebration. I recently took a trip to Freedmen's Town. This is Houston's first free Black neighborhood. There we learned the importance of preserving our history.
It feels almost unreal to be here 160 years after formerly enslaved people started all over. Tell me how Freedmen's Town was built.
So Freedmen's Town, the oldest Black settlement in Houston, post-Civil War, began June 19th, 1865. General Granger arrives, reads General Order 3, letting the folks know there who were enslaved that they're now free, that freedom is here. And so you get those folks from Galveston, Texas, and surrounding areas like Matagorda County, Brazoria County, even Louisiana folks who join this kind of migration into Houston. The history of Freedmanstown runs deep through this city, so this is the beginning place, but you get this community that understands what it needs in order to thrive, and thus you get the houses and the businesses and the schools and the institutions like the chambers of commerce and all those things to ensure that they could be successful. Yeah.
Now, we love to celebrate Juneteenth and all that that means as far as freedom, but what was life like back then? There had to be some challenges as they were building up Freedmanstown.
Oh yeah, of course. Freedmanstown being built or emerging did not come without its challenges. You have several instances of those things happening during the course. You have to think about 1865 comes, technically supposed to be freedom, and then you get this Reconstruction period that is supposed to be happening. So you see all of this progress that African Americans are making, participating in the political process. They're able to own land and purchase property and all of these good things. But then shortly after that, you get Jim Crow, right? And so we know that Jim Crow is a restrictive system intended for Black folks and folks that were not Caucasian, right? So you run into these instances where there were challenges with paving the streets of Freedmanstown. There were, once the community is built up, so to speak, then you get to like the late 1930s, early 40s, where you have 45 freeway that comes in and cuts the community in half, which is why we see Antioch Missionary Baptist Church on the other side of the freeway. And then the residential community of Freedmanstown here. You know, working through and talking with the elders and the community members of Freedmanstown, we learned that there was one point in time where they were not permitted to work on their homes that were here. So the city of Houston would not issue permits for them to do renovations of their homes. So with those kinds of challenges, you get folks that leave the community of Freedmanstown and seek out other spaces to live. Of course, like the 3rd Wards and the 5th Wards, but those were some of the challenges that the community actually faced, even petitioning the city of Houston to be able to pave the brick streets that we now have in this community that are over 100 years old. There were criteria in place, like you have to work with the right contractor. So, you know, there were definitely some challenges along the way, but what I will say in talking to the elders here, they really knew who they were. They didn't worry about the challenges. They just knew that they were capable of getting over those challenges. And the way to get over those challenges were working together. They knew they had to work together. They knew they had to work in community. So what we see today is nothing short of the intelligence, the ingenuity, the innovation of African Americans, their journey. But I think it's also important for people to understand that this is not just Black history. It is American history. It's a story of freedom that is told. I'm often wanting people to also understand that Freedmanstown is not a story of trauma. It is a story of resilience, of progress, of inspiration. So being able to see all of these things happen during the course of Freedmanstown, these buildings, some of them don't exist anymore, but we know that they were there. And so we're able to celebrate that as we move into Juneteenth and attempt to continue that legacy and the preservation of those efforts.
What is physically left of that story, and how are we preserving that for future generations?
Absolutely. So there are about 38 historical structures and assets left in the community. There are homes that are still here. We still have Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. We have the Gregory School that we are right across from. We're right now sitting in a historical asset, which has been restored for adaptive reuse and now serves as our Freedmanstown Visitor Center. We have the historical brick streets. We have several properties that the Freedmanstown Museum is currently preserving. So the J. Vance Lewis House, the Ned Pullum House, Rutherford B. Yates House. We have Jack Yates House. Even though it's not here in the community, it's in the Heritage Society's park, but it's still a part of the assets that were here in the community.
What do you tell people who've never heard of this before, haven't seen it before?
Oh my God, like, it is a great place to come, a great place to learn, but also understand what the ancestors did here. It's a place where you can not only learn about the history, but you leave fully prideful of what has happened here. There's a sense of cultural and heritage pride that I can't really explain, but we want people to come here to the Visitor Center, engage with us in events and activations where we're able to tell untold stories of Freedmanstown. If you want to be in a position of advocacy, supporting our preservation efforts, we have several projects that are going on, Rebirth in Action, the Saulnier houses where we're restoring those for permanently affordable housing. We're attempting to do all of this work to make sure that the footprint of Freedmanstown remains for another 150 years.
Well, I definitely feel the pride in that footprint. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you to Sharon Fletcher. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and coming up, we will celebrate Juneteenth with food.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Juneteenth cuisine is not just a meal, it is a celebration of our heritage. So joining me to celebrate, we've got Dee Jacobs, a culinary queen and celebrity chef of sophisticated delights. Now, you brought lots of delights here for our Juneteenth
I
spread.
did.
Yes, okay. So you got the classics. I mean, let's get into it. Where do we start? Because this looks like a heavy load. I know you're going to teach me, but it looks like a lot.
It probably does look like a lot, and if you don't cook often, I could completely understand that. But today I wanted to show you how to cook a holiday meal, right, for Juneteenth with 1 hour.
1 hour?
1 hour.
What? Okay, well, let's
now, you do have a little prep time ahead of that. Now, I will say, the only thing that you need to make sure that you do ahead of time is soak your beans. So you're going to soak those beans about 24 hours beforehand. But other than that, all of this can be done in 1 hour.
Okay, what if I forgot to soak my beans?
Well, if you forgot to soak your beans, that's okay.
Last minute, girl.
You're going to go get your can of beans.
Go get a can, red beans. All right, got it.
All right. Now, we are making today red beans and rice. So a very Cajun traditional dish, right? New Orleans actually just was named best food in the world.
Oh, well, congrats to them.
I know,
now
right?
we got a little of the best food in the world right here.
We do, with a little bit of a Texas twist to it, right? Because we have our own flair and uniqueness here. And with Juneteenth being the last place, or Juneteenth being such a big holiday, and Galveston being one of the last places to know about what happened and the freedom, then I thought, let's make sure we add some Texas flair into the food because that's where we ended things, right?
I love it. I love it. All right, so what do we have?
So first up, we're gonna go ahead and get our skillet or pot really, really hot. And so we'll swirl a little oil. I'm gonna have you grab that. So about 2 tablespoons.
Okay, any kind of oil?
Yep. All right, there you go, 2. That's perfect.
All right.
You're in there. And so we're gonna go ahead and toss all of our veggies into the pot. I love this dish because it's warm, it's inviting, just like us as people, right?
Yay.
But it's so easy at the same time.
Okay.
And so we've got some andouille sausage. You can use chicken andouille, beef andouille, pork andouille, your choice.
Okay.
I don't judge.
See, now I would usually start with putting the garlic and the onion in the pot first, but it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I like to do the andouille because I want it to render down. You want that fat to have a chance to cook up and it crisp a little bit, like a little texture on that sausage.
Okay.
And then from there, we get ready to add in all the rest of our ingredients, okay?
All right.
So you've got a bay leaf and about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Toss those right on in there. And y'all can already see it sizzling.
It smells good.
Yeah,
I lost count. It's just
That's all right. But you know what? This is a labor of love type of dish, right?
Yes.
So it's okay. It doesn't have to be exact, and that's why I love it.
Okay.
You can just have fun and create.
Let's do it.
So we're adding in 1 whole bell pepper.
All right.
And I did half and half of 2 different colors.
Yeah, it was surprised you got green in there too.
But you know, those are our colors, red and green for Juneteenth.
Yes.
So make sure to incorporate.
Beautiful.
Then that's your Texas. That's some jalapeno.
Okay, how much jalapeno do we want in there?
Girl, we're gonna dump it all.
The whole thing? The whole thing?
The whole 1
Okay,
jalapeno.
let's do it.
Okay. And then we've got a whole white onion.
Definitely want all of that.
There we go.
Love some onion.
And you can already smell it coming
Yes.
together. My lordy. And then we're gonna add all of this. It's just 1 tomato. And then we've got these green onions. You're only gonna use half of them now. The other half we can use later on to top our food.
Perfect.
Okay.
That works. All right. Okay, so then how long are we letting this cook?
So this you're gonna let simmer for about 15 minutes until all your vegetables are nice and sweated down. You give me a good stir there, Chelsea. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
You see how that sausage already has a little
Gorgeous.
texture to it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And I can, you can smell it.
Let me tell you.
So you let that simmer down and we're gonna add our seasoning in at this point.
Okay, so we have your Sophisticated Delight Cajun seasoning here.
We do.
Okay.
So this is Never Bland seasoning, because honey, it's never bland over here.
Baby.
Okay? And you can shake this as you like because
Okay.
it is a low sodium blend. So you don't have to be particular about it. Add as much or as little as you like. That's the beautiful part of this. And you can salt to taste on your own. Once you have that in there, it's absolutely ready to go. And then you're gonna add about 2 cups of water or until it covers all the food in the pot. So you wanna cover all the veggies, all the sausage, and you're gonna let it cook down for about 1 hour. And that's as long as this meal takes. This is the thing that takes the longest. You start from the longest and you work your way to the shorter dishes. So that way by the end, everything's hot, everything's ready. And
Okay.
it's
Okay. So this is with the beans in there and everything, or just
Yes.
for? So while that's cooking for an hour, we're gonna start on something else.
You're gonna start on something else.
Okay,
So
all right.
literally, after you soak your beans, you add them all the way in, and so that's what we do, right?
Bam.
And then you'll add in your water, and then you just let it go.
Okay.
There's nothing else that has to be done.
All right. Bam.
Okay.
Now that we got the red beans going, what's next?
We're gonna start on the fried cabbage, and so for the fried cabbage, you're just gonna need bell pepper, some purple onion, purple and green cabbage.
Okay.
A little bit of oil to fry it in, some fresh garlic, and then some chicken stock.
I love it.
We're using a non-stick skillet as well, so that way I don't have to worry about this cabbage getting stuck to the pot or any of the ingredients. It's just gonna easily loosen up.
Okay.
And then from there, we're gonna add in, we've got 1 purple onion. We'll dump that right on in there. And then if you grab those bell peppers for me, Chelsea.
All right.
We
And
dump
you got
those
yellow
right
and
in.
orange in here.
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful.
Add in a couple pieces of garlic. Doop, doop. And then you go ahead and toss all of that cabbage right on in there.
All of the cabbage.
Now, if it doesn't fit in there, that's okay, okay?
Are we gonna let it cook it down some?
We're
and
gonna
add
let
some
it
more?
We can. We
Okay.
absolutely can.
Because I want it all.
She said,
That's all. Give it all to me.
and so your last 3 ingredients in that cabbage are gonna just be a tablespoon of paprika. That's more or less for color and a little smokiness. And then we're gonna be running that Never Bland back, the
Yes.
Never Bland everything. So this is really just a basic all-purpose seasoning, salt, pepper, onion, garlic, and a little secret spice.
Okay.
And then we just add that right on top.
Bam.
Okay. And then your last portion is actually going to be a chicken stock. So you can use bone broth, chicken stock, or bouillon. Okay. Once it starts to simmer down, then we'll add in that chicken stock.
Okay, bam, easy. So we got our cabbage cooking for about 15 minutes, and then we got to move on to the main dish, the chicken. What is in the sauce that we're using?
So we're making a house-made cherry barbecue sauce. And so that's going to have some fresh cherries, some jalapeno, cognac, pomegranate molasses, Worcestershire, onion and garlic powder, and then you're going to also include mustard and ketchup as well.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yes.
So we've got the cabbage, we've got the sauce that we're going to put on our chicken. And what are your tips for cornbread really quickly though?
A good cornmeal and buttermilk are the key. If you don't have cornmeal that's a good quality, not too fine, then to me it ends up making your cornbread taste too much like cake and not enough like cornbread.
Okay, I'm ready to chow down.
Let's eat.
We have got to take a break. Go ahead and pass me that plate over there. I'm done.
Absolutely can.
We'll let the rest of this simmer.
There we go.
You guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back after this.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I want to thank the Houston Mass Choir, thank you Sophisticated Delights, and the Cultural Center for being a part of our Juneteenth celebration. You guys can keep up with us on social at Chelsea Show Fox. Remember to celebrate, never forget. All right, we'll see you on the next Chatting with Chelsea.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I am paging Dr. Shanda.
I am the Dr. Shanda.
And I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Paging Dr. Shanda podcast, all things related to the Black culture.
The doctor in front of your name.
What's up, family? It is Dr. Shanda. Tune in for another episode of Paging Dr. Shanda. All you have to do is keep watching. But listen, if you're just watching from the outside, just peeking through the window, I need you to commit. Come all the way in the house, and I need you to subscribe, like, and shoot me a comment in the comment section. I love responding to all of your comments. I love listening and reading how much you guys enjoy the topics that I'm talking about. So yeah, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and join the tribe. Stop scrolling for 1 second. This month, we are bringing back the